So we're back for part two of this video about mental health, and everything. And so we left off quick Cliff Notes version. It was an extremely dark place, ready to be done with everything. Wife calls some people, they get a hold of me. I realize, people do care, and you gotta persevere. So I guess the second part of this is, how you end up there and how you end up out of it, and what we can do and what we can do different for each other. And like, you gotta talk about shit. You gotta be around. You can't just bottle it in, man. I was trying to, because even that, the stigma about divorce, it's like, you're a failure. People look at you like you're fucking, got divorced from his wife. Like, oh, it's like, oh shit, first of all. But second of all, like, you got, and this advice I'm giving is advice for myself too, and things I have to work on, and things that I like. This is self reflection, and I feel like making this videos kind of helps me because I say it out loud, and like, maybe it'll make more sense and sink in, but you know. You gotta stop like thinking about what other people think and what other people what their um judgments of you are. Um and we gotta stop internalizing everything. Everything is the world is hard, man. And there's some things that happen that it's just it is what it is. And you know. But um support system is super important. I was saying to my buddy yesterday, we went out and just had a day, man. We just went and got some food, went to the casino, I kind of drove him around, had some drinks. He hasn't been out of the house in a long time. And we had a great day, man. We laughed like little kids, and like, we ate food, and like, it was so good. Like, and I remember I messaged my wife and I said, thank you for being you, and like, thank you for saving my life, because like, I actually wanted food again today. Like, I didn't eat for 2 days straight almost. I fucking just lived in like this nightmarish fucking hole. And I felt like I was watching somebody else's life play out, and I didn't want to watch the video anymore, man. It was cold and ugly and just dark. And, I've talked about, I've often been an anti religion person. Not anti religion, I should rephrase that, because I think religion is extremely good for people. Some people even more than others. Um, and after the day I had with my buddy, you know, if you meet him, he's a character. He's dirty jokes, and laugh a lot, and not the type of person that you would ever picture to sell you on religion, or organized religion, that is. And he asked me to go to church with him. I said, man, I don't really know. And he goes, well, did you ever go to church? And I said, yeah. I went my whole, from when I was probably 8 years old, 9 years old, until I was a little late teenager, maybe junior in high school. And until my grandmother started to get real sick. I kind of, her and my grandfather were devout Catholics. They went to church every Saturday. They donated. They did things outside the church, and like model citizens in that regard. And when I watched, she had breast cancer, and it was ugly, um, very ugly. And when I watched her going through things, alright, it's gonna get heavy here for a second. When I watched her going through things, I said, how could God even exist? And this woman and the people around her have to experience this. And I just kind of wrote it off. And I went back to church for a little while when I was maybe in my 20s after she had passed. I thought maybe it might help me cope with things, and I wasn't ready, I guess, because it made it worse almost. Um, my father is a very not good person, and he's alive. He's was doing well. And it's like, how the fuck is this guy around, and this beautiful, wonderful soul is gone, and we just have to miss her. And so anyway, talking to Corey about that, and he says, "Well, I get it. I went to church my whole life, and he goes right before my mother died. Damn, told you it was gonna get heavy. Right before my mother died, we were laying there together, and I had this feeling that tonight might be the night." And he goes, "But God would never do that to me." And he woke up, and his mother had passed. So, when I heard that story from him, I said, wow, fuck. Who am I to shut God out if he could go through that? If he could look at me with a smile on his face and tell me how much going to church has impacted his life and how much better he feels about things and whatever, and he went through that experience, well, who the fuck am I? And we were supposed to go this morning. Corey slept in. He had a little bit too many drinks on his big night out last night. But this morning I watched the sermon from I listened to it from the church that he wants me to go to with him, and it's like something. It's gonna take time, and I but I am going to give it a reasonable, appropriate effort and walk into it without any preconceptions, or that this is whatever. I'm gonna put aside my feelings about you know how could you do this to me shit, how could you do this to my family shit, and just give it a chance. And we'll see. you know I hope that maybe, my father has always tried to get me to go to church, and he's always preached to me, and whatever, we've argued about it. And, um, but I have a ton of respect for him as a person. He's a great, great man, and a great husband, and a great human overall. And he said when he hit rock bottom was when he started going to church, and really taking it seriously. And I would definitively say I have hit rock bottom. So, maybe I will be upset that it took me this long, maybe whatever. But, just in the sermon today, we talked about, running to the, running to the strength. And he has the strength to carry all your problems, and you don't have to do it alone. And so, it's never too late. It's kind of funny that the sermon that I picked up on, the first one I watched, was one of the themes of it was it's never too late. So, I figure that's a good point to leave off. It's never too late. Love yourself, love everybody around you, you know, be a good person. Treat people, you never know what the fucking next guy's going through. Sometimes the people with the brightest smiles have the darkest clouds following them. So, um, if you watch this, thank you. Obviously, it's a little emotional. If nobody tells me they love me, I do. And stay blessed until next time we see each other.